Hello everyone, it is so hot without a fan. So we'll be solving another LeetCode problem of the day, and today's problem of the day is sort colors. So let's look at the problem. We have an array called nums with n objects, and the objects are colored red, white or blue. We have to sort them in place so that all the colors are adjacent to each other. Here we have red, white and blue, which are represented by 0, 1 and 2 inside our array. So very easy question. We have to just use a in-place sorting algorithm to sort these numbers 0, 1 and 2 in ascending order. For example, here we have a given array and we can see that it is just sorted in ascending order. One thing to keep in mind is to use an in-place sorting algorithm. So a very easy in-place sorting algorithm is count sort, and count sort can be very easily implemented here because we know that we will only have three possibilities inside our nums. Either it is 1, it is 2, or either it is 0. So count sort is really easy to implement here. Let's see how we can implement it. Okay, so let's make an array. Let's create an example 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So this is our example. First we'll iterate through this array and count the number of zeros, number of ones and number of twos. So let's take three variables for now to count them: 0, 1 and for 2. So we have 0, we have 1 0 here. So of course after iterating through them, we'll have 1 here, we'll have 2 here, and we'll have 3 here after going through this array. So after we get the frequencies of all these three, we'll go through this array again, but this time we'll be replacing all the elements one by one according to the number of the frequencies of respective 0, 1 and 2 elements we have counted, right? So as you can see that we have only 1 0. So the first index while we are iterating through this array will become 0. While move to second index in this, we'll eliminate this and go to the first go to the one variable denoting one's frequency. So we'll store 2 1 here, and similarly we'll store 3 2s after 1. So this will be our final array. So this uses a simple algorithm called count sort, and let's look at the code, how to implement it. Here we have the code. So instead of using 3 variables, I'm using array of size 3, and here is the first loop. In the first loop we are cleverly using the index and the number the index represents. We are keeping it same, so it will create it will make our job easier, right? So ARR is used to store the frequencies of 0, 1 and 2, and whenever we encounter a 0, a 1 or a 2 in our nums I, we are storing it in ARR. ARR's index store the frequency of that particular number. I hope you understand. 0 stores the frequency of 0, 1 stores the frequency of 1, and 2 stores the frequency of 2. Here we are using another iterator element so that we can iterate through our ARR whenever we encounter a 0 frequency in our ARR array, right? So iterating through the same nums array again, this time we'll not count it but edit it, right? Let's look at it at last. So what we are doing is in the nums I, we are storing index. We cleverly used index as the number which it represents, so we can just use index to store it inside the nums I. I hope you understand. I'm not clearly explaining it, but you will understand it while you go through it. Or let's move ahead. So ARR of index, we are decrementing it by 1. So whenever, for example, in our array, for example, for this particular example, we would have at 0th index 1, at first index we'll have 2, and at second index we'll have 3, right? So index variable is used to iterate through this ARR, and this is nums. So while editing through nums, let's make it empty. And what this does is, for example, at nums I will store index which will start with 0. So of course, when we have index as 0 and we have 1 0 here, so we'll at I0 we'll store 0, and similarly when we will go ahead, I will increment by 1 and ARR of index will decrement by 1, so it will become 0, and naturally we'll move forward. So for that moving forward, we are using a while loop here, and why we are using a while loop here is because of one edge case. When say both this is 0 and this is 0 too, if we'll use a if condition, it will just increment the index by 1. Either you have to use then two if conditions, that will be not intuitive, so we are just using a while loop. While our array of index